So we've all been paying attention to the massive rap beef going on between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. I'm guilty as anybody else, following all the ins and outs and listening to every song and breaking down who I think is winning and why. You guys saw the video I did the other day. But Drake and Kendrick are megastars, right? And right now they're totally involved in a beef with each other. And hey, you could say they have legitimate grievances, or one side has legitimate grievances and the others don't. That's all fair game. But there's also a genocide going on right in front of our eyes, right? There's an ethnic cleansing and a genocide. It's on video. There are pictures, there are videos, there's human rights organizations detailing the casualty rate and the number of children dying and things of that nature. And so Macklemore comes out and, look, he's after my time that I was really following hip-hop closely, but he had, maybe a couple of hits or whatever. Well, he does a song called HIND'S HALL, which is about Hind, the little 5 or 6 year old girl who was murdered by Israel, and then the Red Cross workers who came to save her were also murdered by Israel. It's a heartbreaking and devastating story. Crystal did a monologue about it on Breaking Points, just going through all of it. So he releases a song called HIND'S HALL and immediately gets absolutely smacked down by YouTube. I mean, we're talking, they age restricted it, which is basically a form of censorship where it limits how far and wide it can spread, and it limits who can view it. And so it's kind of interesting, right? Because you see this beef between Drake and Kendrick, and all those songs are out there. Some of them are even being played in the clubs, right? But this is really challenging the status quo. This is really going after the powerful. This is punching way above Macklemore's weight. But he comes in and lends his voice to this movement against genocide, this movement rising up on college campuses across the country. And so I'm going to play it for you. Look, I'm probably going to get age restricted on this too, or Lord only knows if this is going to be deranked in the algorithm, or they're going to try to censor it in one way or another. I'll put it on like 1.25 times speed to try to like work around that. That might be a sad attempt, though. I feel like they'll still find a way to restrict its movement. But I want to play it for you because shout out to Macklemore, man. Whatever you think of his rapping ability, this is like his heart's in the right place, and he's actually focusing on like super serious issues. Let's get it.
Yeah, the people they won't leave. What is threatening about divesting on one piece? The problem isn't the protest, it's what they're protesting. It goes against what our country is funding. Block the barricade until Palestine is free. Block the barricade until Palestine is free. When I was 7, I learned a lesson from Cuban Eazy-E. What was it again? Oh yeah, fuck the police. Actors and badges protecting property in a system that was designed by white supremacy. But the people are in the streets. You can pay off Meta, you can't pay off me. Politicians who serve by any means. APAC, Kofi, and all the companies. You see, we sell beer around the land of the free. But this generation here is about to cut the strings. You can ban TikTok, take us out the algorithm, but it's too late. We've seen the truth, we bear witness. Seen the rubble, the buildings, the mothers, and the children, and all the men that you murdered. And then we see how you spin it. Who gets the right to defend and who gets the right of resistance. It's always been about dollars and the color of your pigment. But white supremacy is finally on blast. Screaming free Palestine to their home at last. We see the lies and claiming it's anti-Semitic to be anti-Zionist. I seen Jewish brothers and sisters out there and riding in solidarity and screaming free Palestine, with them organizing and learning and finally cutting ties with the state that's gotta rely on apartheid system to uphold an occupying violent history. Been repeating for the last 75. The Nakba never ended, the colonizer lied. If students' intents posted on the lawn, occupying the quad is really against the law. And a reason to call in the police and their squad. Where does genocide land in your definition, huh? Destroying every college in Gaza and every mosque. Pushing everyone in the Rafah and dropping bombs. The blood is on your hands, Biden, we can see it all. And fuck no, I'm not voting for you in the fall. Undecided, you can't twist the truth, the people out here united. Never be defeated when freedom's on the horizon. Yet the music industry's quiet, complicit in their platform of silence. What happened to the artist? What you gotta say? If I was on a label, you could drop me today. I'll be fine with it cause the heart fed my page. I want a ceasefire, fuck a response from Drake. What you willing to risk? What you willing to give? What if you were in Gaza? What if those were your kids? If the West was pretending that you didn't exist, you want the world to stand up and the students finally did. Let's get it.
Damn. We live in a super atomized and hyper-individualistic society. And I think that's why many artists feel like, man, I'm not going to get involved in politics. I'm not going to say something about this thing or that thing. But here's the thing. When you objectively take a look at what's happening right now, this is history. We are living through history. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? You think in the moment they knew when there were anti-Vietnam War protests or anti-apartheid protests or civil rights protests? In the moment, were they all totally sure we're living through history? First of all, they didn't even know they were going to win. They didn't even know, like, hey, we're on the side of this that is going to prevail. Everybody's thinking in the moment they could get squashed by the jackboot of the state and just be utterly defeated, right? But if I'm sure of one thing, I'm sure that right now we're living through history. You don't have the excuse of like, hey, this is a little too hard to understand. I don't do politics. It's too hard to understand. This is actually very straightforward, man. I mean, I'm the first one to admit that we live in a world with so many shades of gray, and it's hardly ever black and white. But if I've ever seen a black and white issue, we're looking at it right now. When you have 42,000 dead Palestinians, 38,000 of them are innocent civilians, over 15,000 kids have been killed, over 10,000 women have been killed. You have the total destruction of North Gaza basically wiped off the map. Mosques, hospitals, schools, UN buildings, every kind of civilian infrastructure you can imagine has been attacked. You have mass graves that are found with evidence of torture and people being buried alive. There's nothing more to discuss. There's nothing more to debate. There's a right side and there's a wrong side. And look, you got all these artists. My guess is, as Macklemore points out, a lot of these artists, I mean, look, it's a big business. It's about money. You have higher-ups. You have management. You have a hierarchy. And in that hierarchy, people are like, hey, shut up. We don't want to alienate anybody. We don't want to, if we make one half of the population happy, we don't want to piss off the other half. It's that famous Michael Jordan quote of like, hey, Republicans buy sneakers too, right? So I'm not trying to get involved in politics. And look, on most issues, fair enough. I can see that argument. But when it comes to life and death, when it comes to genocide, when it comes to ethnic cleansing, there should be more than just Macklemore standing up and focusing on this. And credit to him, man. Look, I don't know who else he has a business deal with, but he probably won't much longer. I wish that wasn't the case, and he probably knew that too. Hey, if I drop this, I might lose business because I'm taking a side in the main political issue of our day. And by the way, let's be clear. You guys all saw how the establishment united to shit on these protesters. All these kids who were just out there very simply saying, hey, we want our universities and colleges to divest from Israel, and we want to stop the genocide. That's it. That's exactly what their demands were. They're very clear about that. All of them were ruthlessly and viciously smeared. They were called anti-Semites. They were told that they're like Nazis. They were told that they're terrorists. They've been called every name under in the book. And they were just viciously smeared repeatedly. And Macklemore had the courage to go out there and say, no, fuck you guys, you're wrong. I see what's going on here. These people are standing up for life. These people are standing up for freedom. These people are standing up for justice. And I'm going to try to spotlight that. So again, whatever anybody out there thinks of Macklemore and his rapping and his style and all that stuff, it's irrelevant. This is brave of him to come out and do this, right? I guess he's not on a label because he had a line there that said, like, you know, if I was on a label, I'd be dropped or something. So I guess he's not on a label. But now remember, as I pointed out, immediately censored. Immediately censored on YouTube. Age restricted. Now they probably would point to like, hey, there's some violent, gory things in there. That's why we did it. It seems like a bit of a dodge, doesn't it? It seems like a bit of a dodge. So, you know, there's all sorts of things that are up on YouTube that are just like trash, right? And they're not age restricted. And then here's like an anthem to try to end a genocide and they age restrict that. It's just weak sauce, man. That's weak. That's a weak argument. It's a weak argument. So anyway, shout out to Macklemore. Hopefully this video doesn't get age restricted or demonetized or deranked in the algorithm. So go show Macklemore some love and also subscribe to this channel because this video might be buried as well. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.